and welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. In the state of Alabama, we have the Alabama Department of Human Resources. It can be considered to be probably the largest state welfare agency because their job is the welfare of a magnitude of people in the state of Alabama. Commissioner Nancy Buckner is so glad to have you with us again this week. Glad to have you back with us. Your department takes care of a magnitude of needs of the people in this state. We talked elder in the past couple of weeks, and now today we want to talk about foster care. Is that a big area of concern in this? Now, when I say concern, a big area that needs to be addressed in the state of Alabama.
It certainly is, and it needs to stay on the forefront. That's all about children, and you know, children are our future.
You've got that right.
If we don't take care of our children, we really don't have a future.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ongoing. It's amazing what some people actually do to children because a lot of what we do, most of what we do in child welfare is confidential. For DHR, we can't talk about the specifics, but there are some really horrendous things that happen to children in Alabama. It's not in New York or California, it's right here where we live. And for that reason, I will never say I've seen it all because I continue to be amazed at some things that people end up doing. And I continue to be amazed at the stamina of our children too, because they go through a lot.
So a child that is in danger then winds up under the care of DHR, and then also they then can be put into foster care at that point. Is that normally what happens? Is that the route?
Well, many times what happens, Jack, is we are able to find a family member that can take that child and protect that child. Foster care is really a last resort for us because we want the child, if at all possible, to stay with someone that is familiar to them. When we go out and we get a report, we go out and investigate that just as we did in the elderly. And then if we don't think that that child is safe at home or we need a little more time to determine whether that's true or not, we're looking for a safe place for that child to be. And if there's a grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle that could take that child in and protect the child, then we do what's called a safety plan with that person. If we can't, then we put the child in foster care. And
so
we take custody.
At that point with a family member, that family member has then legal responsibility for that child?
Well, that's not a legal standing.
Okay.
We're still
It's
working
just
with them. Yes.
Okay. It's just a matter of that they're taking care of the child at that point. Then foster is the next step, or they're actually assigned to a quote-unquote foster family.
Right.
And you have to approve foster families.
Yes, we do. We have about 2,400 foster families in the state of Alabama right now, but we always need more. And I know some people will say, well, I don't know, we've got foster homes that don't have children in them, so why is DHR always needing more foster homes? And let me tell you, most foster homes cannot take every child that we have, birth to 21, because they may have children in their home. We may have a child that's been sexually abused that we need to place. We might need to place that in a home with no children. We might have a teenager that's, say, 17 years old, might have an intellectual disability and might have some other diagnosis. And a foster parent may feel that they're not equipped to take that type child. So we need a very diverse group of foster homes. And because we have a very diverse group of foster children and youth that we take care of.
So does the foster family, can they also then become an adoptive family for that child? Because they've spent so much time with that child. It's usually at least a year, isn't it?
It just depends.
It can vary?
It can vary. But if the child becomes free for adoption, and there's a process, you have to terminate parental rights and all of that. And by the way, parents have lots of rights in this country, and that's why that is a last resort for us. We work with the family. There's a few things in the code that if has happened, we don't have to do something called reasonable efforts with the family. Right. But if most of the time we have to do reasonable efforts, we have to try to rehabilitate that family so that they could safely take that child home, because we do believe that children, for the most part, are better off with family.
Absolutely.
But when that's not possible, we do terminate parental rights through the court. It's always by judicial order. DHR cannot do that by themselves. And when that happens, then the child is free for adoption, and the foster parent gets priority as becoming the adoptive parent in those cases. That's just our practice.
And your department is also over adoptive services for the state too, is it not?
We are. There are some private adoption agencies out there, but we are responsible for
But you're-
licensing those.
Okay,
too.
good.
So,
To make sure everything's done in the right way. That's amazing. So right now in the state of Alabama, how many kids would you say are in foster care?
we have about 5,800. And
That's a good amount.
And we have had a lot more than that at times, but we have really been pushing permanency if a child comes into care.
Good.
And I'm happy to say that the judicial system around the state and everything that goes with that, the guardian ad litems and other people involved, have really been on board as trying to make children's cases a priority.
That's good.
In the state, which is what it needs to be, because
Absolutely.
know, 3 days in the life of a child is a lot longer than 3 days for you and I.
Well, you got that right.
So, yes.
Ours goes like this.
So it does.
That can be forever for that child.
It does. So any month, 2 months, 3 months, you can speed up permanency. That's all the better for that child. They just thrive and grow and develop so much better.
Great. We're going to close by asking you, what can our viewers do to help in the area of foster care?
Well, we would love to have more foster parents, as I said,
Okay.
because we want to be ready for whatever might come in or the things they can bring with them when they come in. We do a lot of training with foster parents. If someone thinks they can't open their heart and their home up for a foster child to live with them, they could provide respite care, because our foster
right.
parents need other people to help them
Yes.
sometimes. Just give them a day's rest or 2 days rest or a weekend. Or there are other resources they could provide. We provide Christmas for all of those children, because
That's
we know our
great.
foster parents taking an
Yeah.
extra 1 or
That's
2
an
or
extra
3
burden.
mouths
Yes.
to feed. Sometimes when they've got their own children, we give them a board payment, but we know that probably doesn't cover everything for them. So if someone wants to take a child to do Christmas for them or do their birthday for them, because we want those to be special times for them, or just whatever they want to donate, they just need to get in touch with their county DHR office, and I'm sure they would be happy to work with them on what they can do.
Good.
So,
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for being with us on the show. If you have anything else that comes up, you call me. We're going to put you back in that seat.
all right,
Okay?
thank you very much.
And just remember, it's DHR, Department of Human Resources, one of the best there is in this country, sitting right here in the state of Alabama. And we'll be right back right after this.